Hi, my name is Catherine Guidry, and today we're going to be talking about why I absolutely love the 50mm 1.2 Nikon lens. If you are interested in learning more about posing, pricing, or watching us behind the scenes photographing a real couple, be sure to visit the link in the description to download your free guide. All right, now let's jump in. This is the Nikon 50mm 1.2, and I have to say this is by far, in my opinion, the absolute best lens that I have ever put my personal hands on of the Nikon line. This lens is extremely fast. When I say fast, it's fast in all applications, whether I'm photographing in natural light during the day or even in the darkest of settings during the reception. This lens can literally focus on anything and be super tack sharp in the process. It's to the point lately where I don't even really use a flash. I mean, yes, if the lighting is very bad, very orange, or they're creating shadows around the eyes of my clients or the friends and family at the reception, then yes, of course, I'm using fill flash in that situation. But otherwise, this lens is allowing me to do things that I have never done before, including putting my artificial lighting in my camera bag and not taking it out on occasion. I find myself getting really experiential images and images that feel like it did at the wedding. That is the ultimate goal, right? For you to just bring yourself back all the way to those photos that happened that very same night. The bokeh is absolutely beautiful. Up until I started photographing with this lens, the closest I could come to this was the Contax 645 80mm f2. This lens at 1.2 is beautiful. When I am taking photos with this lens, the subject is very sharp and the depth of field just falls off after the subject, and you get this creamy, round, gorgeous bokeh in the background. When I'm photographing a wedding at this point, honestly, 90% of the day I am shooting with this lens. The other 10% I'm photographing with my 60mm macro, my 70-200, and the 24-70 here. This is the new Z 24-70, and that's why I had it here. I also have the 51.8. I'm gonna review this lens in a separate video, but I wanted here in this video for you to get a reference on size and to kind of see how the lens is shaped up in comparison to one another. So this is the 1.8 and this is the 1.2. As you can see, they're very, very, very different in size. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Up until this point, when I was photographing with the Contax lens, I was manually focusing. That's a film lens on the Contax 645, and it requires me to really slow down on the wedding day, which on occasion isn't a bad thing. But when I don't have time, I'm photographing a second line, there's a lot of movement and maybe not a lot of light. Having this lens that can be very fast is so key. I cannot even tell you how much this has changed the game for me. I shot a ton of film up until now. Now that I have this lens, I find that I'm shooting a whole lot more digital than I was before because the results match so well with my film photography. Before I was using the Z6 II, which you'll find here, the new mirrorless camera from Nikon, I was photographing with a Nikon D3S. I have a whole video on why I switched to mirrorless. But this lens was a big part of it. When I realized that they had these new lenses and all these new capabilities, I realized that I was limiting myself in the old bodies. With the new body, I can still use the old lenses, but now I have the ability to use this bad boy. Although the list is very short of cons, I do want to mention just two things that you might want to consider. The first is price. Not just the price to purchase, but also the price to fix this lens. When I bought this lens, which was very recently, probably within the last 6 months, I paid around $2,100. About 3 months after I purchased the lens, I was on a shoot, it was raining outside, and I dropped it. At that point, my UV filter broke. What happened was when I dropped this lens, the UV filter got jammed onto the ring around the camera lens. And at that point, my husband and I couldn't pry it off, and I had to ship it off to Nikon to get it fixed. The good thing about having a UV filter on all your lenses, which I highly suggest, is that typically when they crack, it just cracks the glass in front and you don't have to worry about your actual lens. However, because my UV filter was stuck, I actually had to get it repaired and it cost me $700. The other downfall of this lens, as you can see, is the size and even the weight. This lens is actually heavier than the 24-70, which is absolutely insane for a prime lens. This is the 1.8, so just 2 stops higher, and I am not even kidding. It's not only half the size, but it's probably half the weight. This lens is heavy. In conclusion, if you are on the fence about this lens, I'm not one to say go spend money for no reason. I'm very frugal. I built my business from the ground up, debt-free, and honestly, this lens is worth the price point. People have asked me, do I think this lens is worth the price? And my answer is absolutely yes. This is, to this date, in the 13 years that I've been photographing, my absolute favorite lens. I literally cannot shoot a wedding without it. It is amazing. We have two of them. Brad shoots with one when he second shoots with me, and I shoot with the other, and I'm absolutely obsessed. If you have the 50, I know you know what I mean. If you're thinking about it, go ahead and pull the trigger because it's worth it. I did have to pre-order this lens from B&H, and it said that it wasn't available, but it actually shipped out within a week or two. So I would just go ahead and pre-order it, purchase the lens if you're interested, and I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you're interested in pricing, posing, or watching us photograph behind the scenes, you can check that out in the link below. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video, and I hope you have a great day.